We predicted it on the show last night before, talking about this guy, Miami Mike. He knows what he's doing. He's aggressive. I told you, you think last year was his aggressive stance? You think that's where he was going to stop making his aggressive moves? No. Your boy told you, Ramsey, Orlando Brown, there's going to be massive movement in the direction of the Miami Dolphins to potentially compensate and prepare for maybe rough waters with Tua if Tua's in and out of the lineup. But we knew this was happening. We talked about it. And again, the Dolphins aren't done. And every other team should be ashamed of themselves by letting Ramsey get dealt to this powerhouse of a team, the Miami Dolphins. This division's insane. The Dolphins, the Jets, the Buffalo Bills. It's the toughest division in football. Miami's making moves, and so are we. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? We've got a lot to talk about in a brief amount of time, but we're gonna do it live. This trade was absolutely predicted by the show. We talked about it constantly, that this Miami Mike guy is not done. His whole offseason last year, the acquisition of Tyreek Hill, being aggressive, this is what Miami Mike does, and he does it so well. Here he is, making moves again. They're not done. I predicted the other night there would be two big moves by Miami Mike. There would be two massive moves. Clearly, this is one of them. And let's read the compensation because it's absolutely embarrassing to every other team in the National Football League. The other 30 teams should be embarrassed that they let this man get taken for this amount right here. Similar to the Christian McCaffrey trade to the 49ers. Every other team, all 30 teams should be embarrassed they were not involved in the Christian McCaffrey talks. Look at this. Dolphins get Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Ramsey. The Rams get a 2023 third round pick and tight end Hunter Long. I don't understand what people are doing. I don't understand why somebody didn't come along and say, here's a second round pick. I'll give you a second round pick. Where's the bidding war? Miami just walks in and says, here's a bag of peanuts. We'll give you this for Jalen Ramsey. Here you go. And everybody else just, let me sit on my hands. Let me sit on my hands and watch Miami Mike make magic and be aggressive. This isn't even aggressive to begin with. But this is what a move for Miami Mike. He's not done yet. This right here, thanks to the adjusted contract, Jalen Ramsey now on the books for $36.9 million, which I know is part of the reason why the Rams did this. They're trying to make moves, free up cap, build, rebuild, whatever. Now, you got to ask yourself, taking themselves out of the equation for 2023, what do they do with Cooper Kupp? What do they do with other pieces on this team? Are the rumors about Stafford being traded, even though they've shot them down, are those true? Should we be worried about Cooper Kupp's value in a team that has now a lesser defense? Now a team that's going to put the offense in not as good of field position type situations. Are we worried about Cooper Kupp? Are we worried about little Cooper Kupp? Ramsey wanted to go to Miami, Smitty. I understand that. So this is huge. This is huge. We also have a little Aaron Rodgers news. Like we talked about the other night, Aaron Rodgers, the Packers president, said things in the past tense about Aaron Rodgers. Once his career is over, he could come back and retire his jersey. Very much talking about Rodgers in the past tense. And so we knew that based on his verbiage last night that this was a done deal. Now we have footage of, and it's on my Instagram if you want to go check it out, footage of Brandon Marshall and Aaron Rodgers having a discussion outside, and Brandon Marshall's like, break the news with me, and Aaron Rodgers, and he's like, what are we doing here? And Aaron Rodgers is like, soon, You'll know very soon. There's some timing and limits, the deadlines to this, paraphrasing a little bit. And then Brandon Marshall's like, hey, why don't you break the news with me and Aaron Rodgers? And they start debating about whether Aaron Rodgers could be a legend in New York and whether Brandon Marshall was an all-time Jet, even though he played with the Bears almost his whole entire career. And they started arguing about how 1 or 2 years doesn't make you an all-timer wherever you go. And Rodgers says, but yeah, you don't think they're arguing. And Rodgers says something about 1 year. He goes, yeah, you can't be an all-timer going somewhere for 1 year. So it's like Rodgers is giving the Jets 1 year. That was very, very telling. We already know he's going to the New York Jets. But for him to say that, you can't be an all-timer for 1 year. His plan is 1 year at a time. I'm sure he's been very, very clear to the New York Jets that, hey, I'll try and play as long as I can if things are good, but I'm going to take it 1 year at a time. One darkness retreat at a time, but 1 year is all the Jets fans need. So that news, I believe tomorrow morning we're breaking news on Aaron Rodgers. Maybe bright and early, get ready for it. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, probably announced tomorrow, so you know where to come once that news is here. Back to the Rams, Miami Dolphins topics here. What does this mean for the Dolphins? Better field position, amazing defense. You're talking about two of the best defenses in the National Football League in the same division. That's crazy. The AFC East is absolutely crazy. It is the best division of football by far. By far. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who your home team is. I don't care what delusional hopes you have for your division or your specific team. You can spit out any division you want. This is the toughest division in football. Let me screenshot it for you, for those that don't understand what I'm talking about. And I'll drop it on screen and we'll discuss. There is one team in this division that I don't consider an elite team, and they still have the ability to beat any team on any given Sunday because of their coach, Bill Belichick. This Patriots team is capable of being an 8, 9, 10 win team, even in a division where I say they don't have a shot. The Bills, the Dolphins, the New York Jets, toughest division in football. Every single one of these teams has the potential to be at least a championship team, to be in the championship game. And dare I say, every single one of these teams in bold fashion for the Jets and the Dolphins, because people aren't ready to hear about it. Just like when Marty McFly was about to bust out a tune on his guitar and Back to the Future, you might not be ready for this, but your kids are going to love it. That's the same thing we're talking about here with the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. Maybe your brain can't compute this quite yet, and I understand that. The Jets going to the Super Bowl, Smitty, they're the Jets. I don't care. This is the number one defense in the National Football League right here, this New York Jet team. The Dolphins are going to be up there in the top four, top three, whatever. Of course, the Niners have a really good D as well, and the division's going to be a cakewalk, aside from the Seahawks, who are going to, again, be underdogs and put up a fight, and even your boy's going to underrate them. Everyone's going to underrate them, and Pete Carroll's going to do it again. So the Seahawks are going to be very, very good. I believe the Niners and Seahawks are the only two teams in that division. I hate to say that because of my Cardinals, but they don't have Kyler Murray for at least half a year. The Rams are just dismantling piece by piece already, right? What do they do? What do the Rams do from here? Do they get rid of Cooper Kupp? Do they get rid of Matthew Stafford? Even though they've gone on record saying Stafford ain't going anywhere, he's a pillar. A pillar of what? You're taking pillars down by the second over in LA. So I don't know what's going on with this Rams team or what's in store for them. Okay, so 36.9 million's fully guaranteed, which is Miami Dolphins don't care. They're like, yeah, that's fine. No, you understand he's fully guaranteed. That's okay. Bring him on over. We want to win. You don't. You don't want to win, Rams. Bring him on over. Red Rover, bring Ramsey right over. So here's the compensation package again. It is ridiculous. Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins. Rams get a 2023 little third round picky poo. Okay, 77 overall and 100 long. Oh yeah, real good job, real good package. Nice haul, LA. Nice haul. They got rid of some money is how they look at this. They got rid of some money. The phone lines are open. What do you think about this division? This AFC East is absolutely stacked. And what do you think about Cooper Kupp? Do you think the Rams are considering moving some other pieces? Why would you stay put, though? with some of these other bigger components that could help you rebuild. If you're headed in rebuild mode, why not just go all in? Why have one foot in the door and waste Cooper Kupp trade value, waste Matthew Stafford trade value? Why not just dismantle entirely? Why not go after the number 1 overall pick? Why not try and figure out how to make moves that kind of go together and parallel what you're doing right here? Why go halfway? So I'd love to know what you think. The phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I would love to hear from a couple Rams fans as well. You know, if Rams fans could call in, that would be great. Dolphins are going to sign Miles Sanders and trade for Lamar Jackson. Dave, the only thing that makes me think that Lamar, even though I believe Lamar Jackson should be a Miami Dolphin, the Miami Dolphins would be, like the Jets, a Super Bowl contending team. You'd have 3 very hardcore top 8 teams in one division. If the Bills are a top 8 team, I don't want to hear anybody run their mouth about the Bills not being a top 8 team in the National Football League. Look, Josh Allen's going to throw games away, throw seasons away, and win seasons. He's going to win multiple championships over the next 10 years, at least 2. Okay, Josh Allen's that good, but Josh Allen will throw away playoff games and playoff wins. Josh Allen is that Brett Favre, throw interceptions, throw 4 of them, then come out and throw 4 straight touchdowns. So if you believe Josh Allen's Mahomes, he's not, but that doesn't mean he can't be better than Mahomes during one given year, play 3 years, be better than Mahomes for 1 year, play 3 or 4 years. Mahomes has the capability of being good for 2-3 straight years, better than anybody else. Then somebody's going to cycle in, because everything's a cycle in the National Football League. But Mahomes is different. He's more consistent. He's definitely the more Tom Brady GOAT track type of quarterback. But Josh Allen is the Aaron Rodgers. 1 championship, maybe 4 or 5 years without one. 1 championship, that's Josh Allen. That's always going to be Josh Allen. He's going to throw the ball away. He's going to throw magnificent plays, and he's going to rotate. That's just who he is. The Dolphins, the Jets, if the Dolphins got Lamar, they would be a Super Bowl contending team. This would be the toughest division in football by 100,000 miles. It's already the toughest division of football, hands down. But, man, that would be crazy. But the problem is, they've gone on record very, very openly to the point where it'd almost be an embarrassing walk back to go after Lamar Jackson. However, I mean, new stuff could emerge with Tua. Tua could get concussed in practice. You know what I mean? Like, you never want to close the door on a Lamar situation that might be open. That door might be open for quite a while. So a lot of things can happen. Never say never. And if Tua does stay healthy, as long as he stays healthy, this team is going to ball, because that's what Miami Mike does. The problem is, and this is why I think Miami Mike's making a grave mistake, even though I trust this man. He's amazing. He's an awesome coach. Even though I've been critical of him putting Tua back on the field, those are 2 different things. I don't know how in his right mind he's taking this unbelievable roster that is Super Bowl capable now with the addition of Ramsey. It already was, but now you've got defense supporting offense, offense supporting defense, much like I talk about the New York Jets. Very similar teams with very different players and skill sets, but very similar in terms of defense, offense. They cascade back and forth, helping each other and matriculate the football down the field because of each other. They put each other in good field position. The offense puts the defense in good field position, because even if it's a 3 and out or whatever, they march the ball down the field. The defense is always going to have a shorter field and an ability to potentially create takeaways because the offensive support. This is the same type of setup. Great defense, great offense, amazing wide receivers on both sides. The good run game will be present in Miami. Who knows what Miami does at the running back position? Can you imagine if they bring in somebody? Can you imagine if they trade for a Derrick Henry or a Nick Chubb? And we already know that based on Christian McCaffrey's deal. Don't say that Derrick Henry isn't a possibility to Miami. Don't say it. You know why? Because it would cost a 2nd round pick. It wouldn't cost the cost of entry for Christian McCaffrey, which is a second, a third, and a fourth, which was ridiculous and embarrassing for 30 other teams in the National Football League that sat on their hands while the Niners just walked in and paid bottom dollar. Like, there was no other bidding going on, no kind of bidding war at all for Christian McCaffrey. The Buffalo Bills weren't interested for a second and maybe 2/3 instead of a second, a third, and a fourth. No one thought in Cincinnati, let's bring in Christian McCaffrey for a second, a third, and another third. You're telling me that all these teams didn't say, why not? I don't understand it. Derrick Henry's the same thing. Derrick Henry may get traded for a second-round pick. And if anybody thinks Miami Mike won't be interested in that, if anybody thinks Miami Mike isn't in potential idea mode right now, going, I could get Derrick Henry, I'm not even done there. I'm getting another defensive piece. Maybe Orlando Brown. You know, look, we could go all these different directions to all these different positions. There's no reason Miami Mike needs to stop here. There's no cap. You move money around. The cap just increased. The Dolphins will figure it out. Anybody that thinks the cap's going to stop a lot of these things from happening, the Aaron Rodgers was signed to his big fat extension when they were still over the cap last year. The cap is a fictitious number. There's a certain limit, but you have people thinking up stuff in rooms, converting things, and just figuring ways to shove money into the front end of this so they could fit in everything under the cap. It's a joke in a way. You know, there is some limitations. There is a governor on it to a degree, but you can make things work. The Miami Dolphins are making moves. I don't think they'll go after Lamar. I hope they do. But again, the only thing that would open that door, given how hard of a stance they've taken on, we're not bringing in another quarterback, and it's been a very, 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 very hard stance, would be if something developed behind scenes. We heard later that Tua was having issues, or he got hit real hard and had a potential concussion situation behind closed doors, and then they go ahead and go for Lamar. That's something I could see happening. Derrick Henry is a truck with bad tires and 250 miles on it. I agree, and from a fantasy perspective, AC, you don't hear me talking about drafting Derrick Henry. Different in football terms, because even if he missed 5-6 games in the middle of the year, it's worth the risk of having this guy for the playoffs. It's worth the risk of, per start, him being a monster. Cooper Kupp to the New York Giants. Call in if you've got ideas and things you want to kick around. That would be incredible to some degree. I'd rather him go to a couple different other locations that have a little bit more consistent quarterback play, because Daniel Jones, while he did prove to be very, very good last year considering our expectation level, Danny Dimes isn't exactly the guy that's going to take Cooper Kupp to the heights Cooper Kupp could go to. You know, I don't believe. I'd rather see Cooper Kupp land in another situation where there's a potential gunslinger they could throw to him that might have there might be some vacancies. Like if we look at, you could look at like a place like if Lamar did go back to Baltimore, maybe Baltimore. You could look at a location like the Chargers, you know, who have two wide receivers that are incapable of staying on the field. The Chargers would be a great. I would do that. I would say, attention everybody, gather around the staircase here. This is Smitty. This is where we have our meetings. If I was the GM of a team, right in the entryway of the facility, gather around, everybody grab a biscuit. We've got Danishes in the corner, always free food sitting out. Constant Danishes buffet, always. I want everybody to understand something. We're not going to stop trading and giving up second and third and fourth round picks for guys like Ramsey, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. Like, if we need to trade for Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb at second round picks, we're going to go ahead and get it done. Get her done. On 3, break. Grab a Danish. Go. That's what I would do. If I was the owner of a team, I wouldn't stop. Second and third rounders, give them away like candy when you can get people don't value players, especially RBs. Cooper Kupp, who knows what Cooper Kupp would go for? A second round pick? I don't even know. I'm shocked every time a player's traded like Ramsey for this absolute garbage package here it is, right here. Where is it? Where did I put it? Here it is. Compensation garbage. Hunter Long and a third round pick, which is the number 77 overall. You're telling me I could get Jalen Ramsey for a 77 overall pick. I don't care about the money. If I'm able to afford it, it doesn't matter. The money's irrelevant. Yeah, you're helping the Rams out if they want to get out from under that cash and that stranglehold that they feel is such a very, very tough thing to endure at their moment with their team, with their build and their approach. But a team like Miami, they're not worried about the money. You just gave away Jalen Ramsey for free and said, pick up the tab and you can have him for free. Here, you pick the hot tub up. You know, the guy that says, hey, come pick up the hot tub. If you rent a truck, you come get the hot tub. I'll give it to you for free. That way I don't have to hire someone to come pick it up and unload it. Yeah, completely free, Bob. All you got to do is come get it yourself. Come get it yourself. That's all. That's basically what the Rams said. Hey, Miami, if you drive out here and pick him up, he's free. He's free. Essentially. Unbelievable. Cooper Kupp. Of course, Niner Rick thinks he's going to the Niners. He thinks everyone's going to the Niners. What's up, Smitty? Miami to the moon? Absolutely. I mean, as long as Tua's healthy, Miami Dolphins are on their way. But the problem is they'll be on their way until they're not. And the shuttle will get stuck in space, and there'll be no pilot. There'll be no shuttle commander that's up there saying, hey, Smitty, I'm gonna go ahead and take over because Tua went down. No, they don't have that. That's the problem. Miami Mike learned one thing from Shanahan: go in without a quarterback backup plan. That's what Miami Mike's learning from Shanahan. It hasn't broken that piece of I don't know, history and knowledge, lack of. I don't understand why Miami Mike isn't aggressively going after Lamar Jackson. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. He may have a backup plan that I'm going to be shocked about, but Miami Mike's team, let's not sugarcoat it here, is a top 8 team in the National Football League as long as Tua's upright. The problem is Tua's going through, what is it, judo classes or something to learn how to take a hit so he doesn't get concussed. Are you out of your minds? Does anybody understand what that's telling you? He's telegraphing that concussions are a concern, and how can we get Tua to take a fall without his head hitting the ground because he's easily concussed. He's gonna get a concussion. So monster. Somebody called us yesterday. That's right, R. Smith. I don't know what I got to do on this show other than drop predictions like that Ramsey going to the Dolphins. We said that a couple days ago too. They're not done. Prediction number 2 is still in motion. They're going to do 2 big moves. Miami Mike is not done. He's going to make a splash, I believe, that will be equal or greater to this one. Because that's how he rolls. Because that's a coach that I say to myself when I'm alone and no one can hear me. That's my coach. Even though it's not. I feel like it should be my coach. I want him to be my coach. I want this to be my coach. Miami Mike is aggressive. And I love the way he thinks, and he doesn't care what other people do. He's unorthodox. He steps outside the box. He could give 2 craps what the standard is. He could give 2 craps what other coaches are thinking. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if, you don't trade for an RB that's at the end of his career for a second-round pick. Do it. I'm surprised he didn't get Christian McCaffrey. And so I would be very, very excited for him to acquire Nick Chubb or Derrick Henry and try and shake things up, even though there's some concern about Henry and Chubb for the long term. Mr. Super Chat. Okay, I'm sorry. I was excited. Let's go. We got a Super Chat here from Devo. Devo, my guy. Devo says, now all the Dolphins need is a QB. Don't care how much ninja you learn when you're a 250-pound man. Throws you and hits you, you can't plan on the landing. Exactly. So what Devo's trying to say is that he can go to judo class. He can start to learn how to take a hit. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. If you're a concussion prone person, this is from Kevin, Miami Mike, not doing this for nothing, boys. That's right, Kevin. He's going to try and win a Super Bowl, and he's going to do an amazing job. trying to get there. It's just the quarterback probably is going to set him back. Look at the Dolphin. Look at it. Drop a Dolphin for Miami, Mike. I mean, even if you don't like the Dolphins, like, you got to love the aggressiveness. You got to love how this coach operates. But what he's saying right here is that if you're getting hit by a 250-pound guy, it doesn't matter if you don't hit, if you don't hit the ground properly. The thing that Miami Mike is trying, or Tua is trying to do, is prevent those ground concussions. But let me tell you something. Look straight in my eyes. I don't have a medical degree. I don't claim to have a medical degree. I do believe I'm one of the better deep fake pretend doctors on the internet. I really do, because I've been doing this for 20 years. But look into my eyes when I tell you this. If you are a non-concussion prone person, the ground isn't something you fear. The ground isn't something that you try and avoid. If you are worried about hitting the ground and you believe that you're going to get concussed the way that your head hits the ground, or you're worried about the ground, you are very prone to concussions. It's the helmet to helmet things you can't avoid that they try and, in the rules, try and limit a lot of that kind of concussion activity. But your head hitting the ground, if your head hits the ground and you get concussed every time, you are going to be prone for concussions your entire life, and it's going to get worse. The recidivism rate for concussions with some people is going to be higher than others. And even though concussions are an enigma, they're ambiguous. No one, even that studies concussions their entire life, knows a whole lot about them, because it's the brain, and the brain is so mysterious. And a concussion expert will tell you that there really is no concussion expert. Anybody that tries to act like a concussion... Did my lights just go out? Just dimmed in here. Anybody tells you that they know a lot about concussions and they say something as dumb as this. This is what the Dolphins were claiming. GM, mind you.
Yeah, this is the GM for the Dolphins, and I just got off the phone with a doctor who also talked to the NFLPA.
Which I have not heard, or I wonder if the NFLPA knows that he's talking for him.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with a doctor. The doctor said Tua Tagovailoa is no more prone for concussions than any other player in the National Football League.
That doctor doesn't, I'm telling you right now, my opinion is that doctor doesn't know what he's talking about. Why? Because people that study concussions their entire life will say, you can't make that statement. You cannot make that statement. You don't know. The only thing the NFL is doing is determining at that moment, are you concussed? Are you in concussive state right now? You can't predict what's going to happen. What we know is Steve Young, Hurt Warner, these guys drop like flies every time they get hit because they're more prone to concussions. Concussions lead to more concussions, Okay, enough of Tua. We know that. I've said this for 100,000 times. Miami Mike is doing the best he can with what he has. He should be exploring the Lamar Jackson track. He's not. So until and if Tua gets hurt again, he's got a championship caliber team. That's all we know. We will celebrate his aggressiveness. We will hope for Tua to stay healthy. We're not wishing it upon him. But I think this is a championship team until he gets concussed, and then boom. Appreciate you dropping that, Devo. This is a great trade for the Miami Dolphins. And we're assuming when we talk about this that Tua doesn't have a concussion, okay? This is a championship caliber team until a problem arises like that. And maybe Miami Mike's smart enough to bring in a QB like Mike White if Mike White doesn't find a starting job. Maybe he brings in Brissett. And let me tell you something. Mike White or Brissett would look much like Tua in this lineup, because let's keep something in mind right now. Tua is not a magnificent top 5-6 quarterback. He's not. We had Tua goggles that we used to put on the show, and we kind of made fun of Tua. And I take a lap for that in terms of the production. I take a lap. I take ownership of saying Tua is not a good quarterback, because guess what? In that system, he is. Doesn't matter why, he is. He is a top 6 to 8 quarterback, pretty much guaranteed, as long as he's upright in Miami Mike's system. Miami Mike McDaniel is such an amazing schemer, play caller, coach, offensive coordinator, best friend, everything. to these players. He is a player's coach, and everybody loves him. This guy walks into an event or stadium. They ask him where his parents are, or sir, I'm sorry, are you lost? Are you with somebody? Oh yeah, I'm the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, right. Yeah, sure, right, kid. And they march him right on out. This guy looks like a friend. He acts like a friend, but he's an absolute monster and an absolute brain, a walking brain on his shoulders. And the only part I don't understand is his quarterback approach. I just don't know that. I think he's a little blinded by Tua and maybe his commitment to Tua and I think this is where he needs to grow. He needs to make a bold decision around that and not sit there and kind of waver and feel loyalty to Tua. Because I think he feels so much loyalty to Tua that he's going to stand by him, which I admire. But maybe he's got a plan in Mike White. Maybe he's got a plan in Brissett. And like I was trying to say, let me circle back. If Tua, who's not a great quarterback, he's a mediocre to good quarterback. If he can be near great in this offense, so could Mike White. Mike White could be good to great. Brissett could be mediocre to near good to great in this offense. I know that sounds crazy, but Tua was no better than Brissett was. Tua was no better than Mike White was. Tua's really no better than those guys, but in this offense he is. And that's all that matters. Perception's reality. This is the reality. Any quarterback injected into the system is going to look good as long as they're competent and can make throws. So hopefully he doesn't bring in Jimmy G, but he can't because Jimmy G is almost guaranteed to get a starting job and getting paid bank. So that's kind of off the table. Any potential starting quarterback won't be brought in. It's going to have to be somebody that slips through the cracks. Maybe Mike White gets a starting job. Maybe Mike White starting in I don't know, maybe starting in let's take a look at the quarterback board and just give a little guess. A little look behind the curtain here. Maybe starting in Indy. Maybe Mike White starting in Indy. Maybe Mike White. Now, you notice some of these are getting picked off left and right. Panthers no longer need a quarterback. Saints no longer need a quarterback. The Bucs seem to be in love with Trask, but I don't know that I buy that entirely. The Falcons are out of the Lamar game, according to the people. I'm going to go ahead and take this off the board because I don't buy it. I don't believe it for a second. The Raiders are reportedly off the Lamar game, which is why we put those X's there. Panthers are drafting a QB, so they're out. Colts are probably out because they're probably drafting a QB, so I'm going to go ahead and put the Colts with an X just because we do believe they're going to draft someone. Trask does. I don't buy that. So Falcons, Bucks, and Raiders are the only teams that are very quarterback needy. Aaron Rodgers is headed to the New York Jets. So Mike White might slip through the cracks, not get a starting job. And then at that point, it's like Mike White to Miami would make a whole lot of sense. And that would get me kind of behind the idea of rolling with Tua for one more year. Because Mike White would be a good quarterback in that system, in that scheme. He'd be phenomenal. Tua has more talent than Mike White or Brissett. I think it's easy to say that, Travis, given where we're seeing Tua play. We don't really know. You take Tua outside of his environment, what's he going to look like? I don't think he'll look like, I think Mike White would look better. I think Mike White would play better than Tua in this offense, to be honest with you. But that's just me. I respect your opinion, and certainly it's debatable, and we certainly don't have an answer for that. Joseph says, take a lap, Smitty. You take a lap, Joseph. But I appreciate you being here. I have 5 concussions, and you were definitely more prone to concussions. It started with the big things, then you threw the ball, and we're looking and got concussed for a bit. Yeah, here's the thing is, you can practice all you want taking a hit and going to the ground, but you literally just a hit without going to the ground, a hit without a head contact. Tua's going to get to the point where he's going to get rocked, and just his head wobbling on a shot to the back can make him get concussed. Not to mention that Tua obviously still going to get hit in the head. So, judo or whatever he's doing, I don't know what they said he was doing to try and land better, to try and figure out how to land better. That's a really bad sign. Then you're trying to figure out how to fall down to try and avoid concussions. That just means you're going to get concussed. Appreciate everybody being here. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Dial in if someone wants to talk about this defense, the Miami Dolphin defense. If someone wants to talk about Aaron Rodgers, someone wants to talk about Cooper Kupp, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Joseph's taking a lap. Joseph, I don't know why you told me to take a lap, but I do appreciate you taking your lap. You're the man. Tua has more talent than Mike White or Brissett. That said, you could be right about the effectiveness in the Miami system. That's what I'm saying. Like it's easy for a passerby to like come to the show and not really understand what I'm saying. And I'm not saying you don't, Travis. But like, if I say that Mike White could be better than Tua in that offense, what someone hears and what someone listens to are very different. What someone listens to is, or what someone hears is, Smitty just said that Mike White in New York, and what we saw already out of Mike White, where he didn't really succeed to the degree we wanted him to, right, is better than Tua in Miami. That's what someone hears. What they should be listening to is what I'm saying is, if you took Tua out and put him where Mike White was, you know, and granted, I love the New York Jets, and if they get an elite quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, is to the moon. But Tua in that system would have failed, I think, more than Mike White would have. And if you took Mike White and put him in the Dolphins situation last year, I believe he would have succeeded to an even better degree, bigger degree than Tua. Not to mention probably stay on the field, although they both have a problem staying on the field. But you know, he'd be protected there. It wouldn't be a concussion-related injury. Mike White was getting rocked, and the New York Jets got to protect, you know, Aaron Rodgers and make sure that they're not letting Aaron Rodgers get rocked like Mike White got rocked. But Mike White was a soldier out there, and I don't think we should take away from the fact that this guy played injured, and his failure in finally getting the job and failing had a lot to do with that he was playing hurt. So hopefully Mike White does get a shot. It'll be interesting. More reports that the Panthers are trying to trade down. I think that they trade down to the 2 pick. I think they're absolutely dumb and ridiculous if they trade down to like the 9 or or not the 9, the 4 or the 5. They trade back to their 9. This is like draft day, the movie Draft Day. Look, here's the thing, bro. Smoke season. If you're in the number 1 spot, why not float a couple rumors out there that you're willing to trade the 1 to see what someone might come and offer? You know what I mean? And then you just shoot them all down. So that wouldn't surprise me if it was just, you know, temperature testing. But would they trade down to the 2? Yeah, because I don't think they know what they want to do. So I could see a on-the-clock draft day trade where the Texans trade up. But that's about the extent I see, unless they're floating out this is available. This is available. They float out there. And then they go ahead and turn down everything because nothing's going to blow their socks off. Terry Roberts says 144 people in here and only 147 people in here and only 54 likes. Can you guys punch that thumb up button for your boy Smitty? So we got Aaron Rodgers news to break tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it'll happen today. Let's see here. What's up, Living Legend? Appreciate you. Never saw the movie, but what was everyone saying? I'm not sure what we're talking about there, Jack. The Rams are in cap hell. The trade was probably necessary for them. I know that's why they're doing it, but you got to start rebuilding at this point. You can't trade Jalen Ramsey and then try and play with your other pieces and try and win. You're not going to win. It's going to be a wasted year. You might as well totally rebuild now. You might as well get rid of Cooper Kupp while you can still get an insane amount. Dolphins are looking at Minshew. I saw in one report Minshew would be a perfect fit. The quarterbacks that make sense for Miami Mike to back up Tua properly would be these quarterbacks right here. I would say Mike White, Jordan Love's going to be starting in Green Bay now. Jimmy G is going to cost too much, nor do I want that. Tyler Huntley would be interesting, and I know everyone thinks Tyler Huntley completely failed, but he's got a lot of talent, and if you put him in Miami, he would be similar to Tua. And Wentz, in Miami, Wentz would probably do okay. Gino's obviously with Seattle now. Danny Dimes is obviously remains on his big fat new contract, $94 million guaranteed, I think. Baker Mayfield, maybe he's heading to Tampa Bay. Maybe he's headed to maybe Miami Mike's going to take a look under the hood. But he'll probably get a starting job. Out of all these quarterbacks here, Jimmy G and Baker are probably the top dogs to land starting gigs, and then everybody else will probably be the scraps. Minshew is a good backup for Miami Mike. Brissett would be a good backup. I think the Niners will be interested in either Minshew or Brissett. You notice how the Niners and Miami Mike, they do the same things? It's like Christian McCaffrey. They probably both wanted McCaffrey. They probably both wanted Ramsey. The Niners don't do any moves in the early offseason, though. They do their moves on draft day. Miami Mike does all of his aggressiveness up front. And so, but like this is very, very Niner-like to want Minshew or Brissett. It's very Miami Mike-like to want Minshew or Brissett. So look at both of these guys being the options for Miami Mike. And I think the Niners will also attack Brissett or Minshew, whichever one's left, because Miami Mike's going to probably strike first, unless the Niners start getting scared that Miami Mike's going to scoop people up. Baker gonna back him up, Smitty. Back up who? Smitty. Who is the next season's Geno Smith? Next season's Geno Smith. Sam Howell might be the next Geno Smith. I like Sam Howell a lot. I just don't know if he's set up for success, but if he is, and he's supported and given a proper chance and good coaching, Sam Howell could end up, I think, turning some heads. But he could also fall flat on his face. It depends on the support he gets. Do I think the Rams will blow it up? I don't think they will, or I don't get that feeling yet, but they should. They should. At this point, you should just blow it up. You should just blow it up. Derek Carr. Yeah, Vamp, that's a good one, I suppose. I think Derek Carr didn't really fail last year, though. He failed to win, but yeah, Derek Carr could play, like if you're saying Geno Smith, kind of like surprise top 6 finishing quarterback. Yeah, Carr could definitely get that. I like that one, Vamp. Only thing is Stafford's dead money would be crazy. I'm pretty sure if they trade him. Yeah, but if you take a big lump all up front, Jack, and this is a dead year anyway, then maybe that's what they need to do, But, I mean, saving cap from the Jalen Ramsey thing, it feels like half of them wants to try, and they're going to try and make some other smaller moves. But I just don't know why you would get rid of Ramsey and then try and win. You know what I mean? Like, why? Stafford is kind of a concern, so Stafford's a concern. And then, I don't know. Smitty, I heard Baker to Tampa Bay. Yeah, Baker could go to Tampa Bay, but Baker's only going to go somewhere where he can compete to start or get the starting job. You know what I mean? Like, he if we look at this quarterback board, Baker and Jimmy G are the top names, and Wentz maybe. And so these guys are going to want starter money. So if Baker goes to Tampa, it won't be to compete. It'll be on starter money. Big enough money to where it's like that's starter money. Maybe they say it's a competition. Maybe they tell Baker one thing and do let Trask, take a stab at it. But yeah, I don't know. This is Jalen Ramsey is at the top, says Tyreek Hill. Wow, this is unbelievable. Ramsey and Tyreek in practice. I mean, anybody even think about that yet? I haven't had time to even adjust my thinking and absorb everything that just happened. Did anybody just think about that? Tyreek Hill versus Ramsey in practice. I mean, this is what Tyreek just at ESPN reshared this, but Tyreek Hill on Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is at the top. This is going to make Tyreek Hill better. This is going to make Ramsey better. This is going to make... Does anybody understand what I'm saying right here? This offense, Tua even, as long as he's healthy, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, the scheme, the offense, the Miami Dolphin offense is going to be so much better just by practicing against Ramsey. Like it's just an elevating move overall for this club. What a move. What a move. Let's go. Let's take, I don't know if my phone lines have been broken. I reset them. I had to restart them. So let's take one call before we leave. I think they're fixed.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right. Who's going to be the last? Who's going to be the only call of the day? Phone lines have been reset. I know they're working now. I see them working now. If you're happy selling for 2 years or competing for one Super Bowl, I guess I'd rather build a winning franchise rather than buy one Super Bowl, says Travis. I'm not sure what we're speaking there. If we're talking about A-Rod, maybe. Tyreek will roast Ramsey. It's gonna be a great daily duel, bro. It's gonna be amazing. Like, I'm just so excited for Miami, Mike. I like aggressive coaches, man. I root for them. Would the Rams even get Aaron Donald? It seems like teams would have to gut their roster to acquire him. What would the Rams even get for Aaron Donald? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know how much. How much time does he have? Like, that's going to be another part. Like, you're acquiring him for what? So that's going to make it something that makes you a little bit gun shy to trade for a guy like that. Unbelievable. I'm just so excited for this. This news is huge. It's huge. It also makes the NFC West, a lot easier. This NFC West now, I'll put a screenshot of that for everybody so they can take a look at it. But it's down to Seattle and the Niners now. Cardinals aren't in the mix because of Kyler Murray's injury. He probably won't be healthy for at least half the season, if not more. And so the NFC West, it's going to be Seattle and the 49ers. And Seattle's going to give the Niners a run for the money. I know they think they won't, but they certainly will. And Pete Carroll's always defying the odds. And I'll admit right now up front, I'm going to probably underrate Seattle. I'm going to probably underrate Geno Smith. And I'm telling you that up front. I'll take my lap early. So, yeah, retiring. No, was answering Jennifer about the Rams dumping all their picks. Yeah. Metcalf stock is up. No more Ramsey. True. That's also a good piece of info there. You don't play Ramsey twice a year. I mean, yeah, that's a great point. We didn't even talk about that yet. AC brings up an amazing point. This is why you need to call in, AC, or people need to call in and bring up these kind of topics. Haven't even got there yet. My brain hasn't even processed all this yet. DK Metcalf, very, very. AC, I'm going to try to remember to shout you out when I bring this up moving forward. But DK Metcalf's value just went up a little bit based on this trade. Just went up a little bit. Twice a year, he's no longer locked down. I mean, there's so many ramifications. You can't even like comprehend it all. And lap for Smitty, JK Go Hawks. Lap for Smitty. Oh, for what? I got you, because I said I'm going to take a lap in advance. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna undervalue Geno. I'm admitting that right now. Him and Pete Carroll are gonna do some good things. Die Hard Hawks fan says, Thomas, appreciate you. Metcalf to the moon. AC to the moon. Nice call, AC. I mean, this helps DK. If you were worried about DK, there's 2 games now where DK Metcalf is no longer locked down. That's what. Maybe it's crazy to think about this. This is the psychology in me that likes to think in I love theories and thinking stuff. I think about stuff that people are like, I don't care, bro. I'm like, hey, what if we're all in a simulation right now? That's how my mind thinks, okay? And so now I'm thinking to myself, what if this trade right here, like AC just alluded to, what if DK Metcalf actually has like 95 more yards let's say like 110 more yards and 2 touchdowns because of this trade? Like, if this trade didn't happen and we saw that universe play out, DK Metcalf has, let's say, 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. And in the alternative universe, the parallel universe, Ramsey's traded away and DK has 25 and 11 touchdowns instead of 9. Like, it's crazy to think this trade may have given DK Metcalf 1 or 2 more touchdowns, maybe 100 more yards. Pat McAfee said that the Rams were shopping Stafford too. We've heard different things on that. We've heard the Rams call him a pillar and he's not going anywhere. And then we've heard that behind closed doors, they might be shopping him. Then there's the dead cap issue. It's definitely a simulation, says Class. If it is, bro, then I don't even exist. I'm a figment of your imagination. I'm not even really here. If this is a simulation. For sure, simulation, but don't tell anybody. It's in the script. That's all I know. The simulation, whether we're in a simulation or not,
The script strikes again.
All right, guys, I'm going to go eat. I'm sure I'm going live soon. I'll be on the Zoom call. For those of you that want to be a part of the Sunday Zoom calls, the YouTube exclusive members, the green names. If you are a $1.99 YouTube exclusive member, then you guys get the emojis and you're supporting the show, and I love that and I appreciate that. But if you want to upgrade even 1 month and try it for the $1.99 goes up to $9.99. And then you can cancel or downgrade. You can upgrade and downgrade as many times as you want, as much as you want. It's very easy. It's all through YouTube. Very safe, very secure. Anybody that's got the $9.99 plan, we're going live on a Zoom call. Okay, in a little bit. I'll see you all later. I'm sure I'm going to be live breaking news. And we will draft tonight. I'm sorry we didn't draft last night. We will be drafting tonight at midnight. I'll see you all later. Thank you for the super chats. Vamp says, Smitty, what is the Miami Super Bowl window? At least 2 years. At least. Maybe more. Vampy, good question. Appreciate you all. Vampy to the moon. Vampy
To the moon.
to the moon. D-Class to the moon. Lawn Boy to the moon. Travis Rowe to the moon. Slats to the moon. AC to the moon. Niner Rick to the moon. All of you to the moon. Joe, appreciate you. Going live on Instagram right now. Go see me on Instagram.